Hey everybody! On today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about flow and why exactly flow matters as it relates to balisongs. Because I think that a lot of people, when they're new, they kind of neglect the whole flow element of balisongs in favor of just, oh, I need to learn a trick, I need to learn new tricks, I need to learn tricks. You know, they'll be like, oh, look at this trick, look at me go. And then they'll be like, oh, you know what I should learn next? Zen rollover. And while it's important to learn tricks, the problem is that if all you ever do is learn tricks, you're never gonna develop any kind of flow. But let's talk about what is flow. Flow is kind of like the way that you, good lord, the way that you move the bally around in your hands. It's kind of like, you can have good flow or you could have like kind of a bad flow. But see, what that looks like is basically how fluid your motion looks and how well you can have tricks that, you know, go together. So if you're able to have your tricks look like they flow together really well, then that would be a great example of some good flow. But if your tricks do not look like they go together well, that'd be bad flow. Like, to use the two tricks that I did earlier as an example, let's say bad flow would be you're like, oh, look at this cool combo I made. Because the problem with that is that there's no way for you to get from here into the position for the next trick. So you kind of just have to like move the balisong in your hand versus, you know, finding some way to actually get yourself into that position, like here. So that's kind of what flow's like. But flow can also be, let's say you're doing a behind the eight ball. That's a behind the eight ball, that's what it should look like. But your behind the eight ball might also look like this. And you can see that the difference is very clear between the two, because one of them has really good flow and the other does not have good flow. And you might be wondering, well, why does any of this matter? Because if I can do the trick, does it really matter what it looks like? Why should I stop learning tricks to focus on my flow instead of just learning new tricks? Well, flow is important because flow is kind of what helps you create your specific style of flipping. You know, what kind of style do you want? Do you want something that's entirely rollover based? Kind of like what I do. I do a lot of rollovers, and then I'll usually do rollover to aerial. So do you want something that's kind of really heavily rollover based? Or do you want something that's a bit more to do with your fingers and kind of maneuvering the balisong? A lot of people do cool stuff with, like, you know, their other hand and those kinds of things. Flow is what can help you figure out your style. Because that's kind of what this whole balisong thing is about. It's for fun, sure, and it's to look cool, but it's also an art. It's a flow art, you know? So it's important that you learn proper flow. So flow's important. All right, we got that down. Cool. But what are ways that you can actually improve your flow? Well, there's a few ways that you can improve your flow. And they're both things that you have to actively do. There's no real passive way to improve your flow. Like, for instance, to get better at flipping passively, all you have to do is flip, you know? Sure, you can practice specific tricks, but if all you do is flip and do the same tricks over and over, you will still get better. It won't be as quickly, but you'll get better. So, how do you improve flow? Well, one way to do it is to learn combos. Learn things that challenge you and make you kind of learn new things. For instance, although I did that kind of badly, that was kind of a combo that I learned and am working on. It looks really cool if it's done well, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. But those are the kinds of things that you need to do. Learning combos is a great way to improve your flow, because somebody's already done the hard work of figuring out which tricks go together. Another way that you can improve your flow is to practice it. And the way that I would recommend practicing is take your balisong in whatever position you want to start in and just do a trick. So Y2K. Okay, now let's think. From this position, what can I do? Well, I can do Z choker and end up here, or I can just go into a chaplain. And Z choker's kind of hard to get out of this position very well, so you decide, all right, let's do a chaplain. What do I do to get out of a chaplain? Stop it like this. All right, well, what can I do from here? Well, you might think, oh, I can do a full twirl. And that's cool. But what if I don't want to stop there? So I'm going, I do my chaplain, I stop, full twirl, and I get to here. Well, alternatively, you can grab it down here, and you can do what's called a knuckle duster, where you fling the knife down, up, and then grab it. Now when you grab it, you'd normally, just finish like that. But what if instead you do this? And now we're right back where we started. So that could be an infinite loop. And you could just do this over and over again, and that could be your little loop. I think that is a great way to improve your flow, is to simply slow down your flipping and think one trick at a time, as in, all right, well, after I do a behind the eight ball, what can I do afterwards? Well, you kind of end here, and from here you can just go straight into a helix, and then you can go into an aerial to ice pick catch. Those are the kinds of things that you need to think about when you're trying to come up with how to do your flow. And now obviously my flow's not the best. There's definitely better flow. And my flipping today is especially not the best for some reason, but that's kind of what flow is, and a little bit about why it's important and how you can work on it. If you guys are interested to see some better examples of who I'm personally very inspired by, I will put him down in the comments. Let me see, I want to look up his name, because I was actually I just found him not too long ago actually. Let's see if I can find him. Yeah, his name is Luke Flips on Instagram. He does some really cool stuff. I think he's got some amazing flow. I will link his Instagram down in the description, or if I forget, it'll be in the comments. But that's about all I got for today's video. Hope you've all had a great day, and I hope that you all keep flipping.